Today's lesson objective, we're going to solve perimeter word problems. So we're going to do it with rectangles and triangles. First one I'm going to show you guys is rectangles. Well, first of all, let's look at the word perimeter. It's actually two pieces from Latin. Peri means around, and meter means to measure. So the perimeter is just measuring around the figure. We're just adding up the sides, right? You guys have heard about perimeter before? Okay. All right, so in example 1, we've got a rectangle. The width is 4 centimeters less than twice the length. If the perimeter is 64, find the dimensions of the rectangle. All right, did I give you a picture for this one? I didn't. So when you have these kind of problems with the rectangles, it's probably going to be easier if you draw yourself a picture. So, let's see here. So the width, let's draw it here. We've got 2 lengths and 2 widths, right? And it says the width is, so W equals 4 centimeters less. So 4 centimeters less tells me we're doing what? We're subtracting. Am I starting with the 4 and subtracting from it? Or is it being subtracted from something else? It's being subtracted from something else. So remember that we kind of do it backwards when it's subtraction. 4 centimeters less than twice the length. So how could I represent twice the length? 2L. Okay, so now instead of writing W, what I can do is I can just have 2L minus 4 for the width. Okay, and we said that the perimeter is 64. So to find out what the length is, I can add all the sides together. So I've got 2L minus 4 plus L plus 2L minus 4 plus L, and that has to all add up to my perimeter of 64. So if I combine like terms, I've got 2L, 2L, and L, so I have a total of 6L. And then the minus 4 and minus 4 gives me minus 8, and that has to equal 64. We add 8 to both sides, and we get 6L is equal to 72, and then we divide by 6. And so that would mean L was equal to 12 centimeters. Okay, so that's part of our answer. But now I have to figure out the width. Does anybody have an idea what I could do to find out what the width was? Plug it back in, exactly. So I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to plug it in over here. So the width is going to equal 2 times 12 minus 4, which is 24 minus 4. And so the width would be 20 centimeters. And you do want to try and remember to write your units on these. So this is an unusual rectangle in that it's wider than it is long, but that's just how it worked out. Okay? Yes? The 2L minus 4 plus L, the 2L. Okay. What I did is I added the sides going around the rectangle. I had this side was L, this side was the 2L minus 4, this side was L, this side was 2L minus 4. So I just added those 4 things together. And then they had to equal the perimeter of 64. Okay? All right. So example 2. This one, the length of the rectangle is 3 centimeters more than twice the width. So I'm going to draw myself another picture. It says the length is, so that's my L equals 3 centimeters more. So if it's 3 more, what am I doing with that 3? I'm adding it on, right? So 3 plus twice the width would be 2W. And then, of course, the width is W. So for the length, instead of writing L, I can write 3 plus 2W. And the perimeter is equal to 60. So Now I'm going to add my 4 sides together, 3 plus 2w plus w, 3 plus 2w plus w. So how many w's do I have altogether? 6 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 6w. And then 3 and 3 is 6. And that has to equal 60. Okay, I'll let you guys solve for w in your notes on your own, and we'll see if you guys all got that right. And then once you have w, go ahead and plug it in for L and find the length too. So go ahead and find both the dimensions. So it looks like most of you did that fine, no problems. Okay, now what I want you to do is on your whiteboards, I want you to first just draw me the picture of how you would solve this one. Okay, so draw me a picture on your whiteboards of how you would set this one up. So don't solve it yet, just draw the picture and label the sides. Okay, so when you draw this, you've got width and length, right? And this one, it says the width is, so W equals 7 less means I'm subtracting 7 from something. What am I subtracting it from? The length. So instead of W, I can write L minus 7. And then this one would also be the length. Okay, so that's how you guys need to set it up if you were getting stuck on that step. Okay, go ahead and do the next step and figure out the dimensions. Okay, so when you combined your like terms, you've got 4L minus 14. That equals 66. Add 14 to both sides. 4L is equal to 80. Divide by 4, L is equal to 20. And so the width is just 20 minus 7. So the width is 13. And these are feet. Okay, so now we're going to do some triangle problems. In a triangle, the first side is 3 inches more than the second side. The third side is 4 less than twice the second side. If the perimeter is 27 inches, then find the lengths of each side of the triangle. So now for these, it's actually easier if you just write down 1, 2, and 3 for the sides, because when you're drawing a triangle, it's not real clear which is the first side, which is the second side, and which is the third side. So I find it easier just to make myself a list of the 3 sides. So here it says the first side is 3 inches more than the second side. So how would I show 3 inches more? It means I'm adding 3 to something, right? I'm adding it to the second side. So I'm going to call the second side X, and then that first side then would be 3 more, or X plus 3. Then I see that the third side is 4 less. That means I am subtracting 4 than twice the second side. So how could I show twice the second side? 2x. All right, so those are my 3 sides. So to find the perimeter, you just add them together. X and 2x gives me 4x. A positive 3 and a negative 4 gives me negative 1. And that has to equal my perimeter of 27 inches. So now I just solve for x. I add 1 to both sides. 4x is equal to 28. And so when we divide by 4, we get that x is equal to 7. So then you just go back and plug that in up on top. X plus 3 would be 7 plus 3, or 10. X is just 7. And then we'd have 2 times 7 minus 4, so that's 14 minus 4. So that would equal 10 also. So my sides, you list the answer in order when you write your answer. It's 10, 7, and 10 inches. Any questions on what I did? Okay, so another example. In a triangle, the second side is 8 millimeters less than 3 times the first side. The third side is 5 millimeters more than the first side. If the perimeter is 57 millimeters, find the lengths of each side of the triangle. So go ahead and get that written down. Okay, so again, we want to list our sides, 1, 2, and 3. This time it says the second side is 8 millimeters less than 3 times the first side. So on the second side, I'm subtracting 8 from something. What am I subtracting it from? 3x, because we're going to use x for the first side this time. And then it says the third side is 5 millimeters more than the first side, so it's x plus 5. All right, so if we combine our like terms, add them together, I get 5x minus 3, and that has to equal the perimeter of 57. So go ahead and solve for x and see if you can figure out what those 3 sides are. Okay, so when you solve for x, you should have gotten that x was equal to 12, and when I plug it back in, the first side is 12, the second side is 28, and the third side is 17. All right, so this last one, I'm going to let you guys just totally do it on your own, on your whiteboard. Again, write yourself the 1, 2, and 3. If you want to make sure your expressions are right before you figure out the whole problem, you can show me what you have for 1, 2, and 3 first. Okay, so if the first side is 4 more than the third side, I can call the third side x, and the first side would be x plus 4. And then the second side is twice the third side, so it's 2x. When you add those together, you get 4x plus 4 is equal to 88. And so when you subtract the 4x equals 84. And when you divide, you get x is equal to 21. So when you go back and plug it in, the first side is 25. The second side is 42. And the last side is 21. And those would all be centimeters. Thank you.